Speaking for the entire county, serving Dillon, Latta, and Lakeview by covering our local news and upcoming events. Please join us now for Chamber Moments.
Hello, welcome to Chamber Moments. I'm Johnny Lewis. Today I have as my guest Ernie Barentine, and Ernie is with the Dillon County Free Medical Clinic. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Doing well. Let's talk a little bit about the clinic. It's up, going, doing well. Pat, how many patients do we have now?
We currently serve about 570 active patients.
Wonderful, wonderful. The criteria for them to be a patient of the Free Medical Clinic?
They need to be between the ages of 19 and 64. They need to be uninsured. They don't qualify for Medicaid or Medicare. They have to be within 200% of the poverty level and a resident of Dillon County.
Okay. Do they have to bring any proof with them when they come to try to sign up for services?
They do. They will need their state-issued photo ID, Social Security card, a proof of all household income. If they receive SNAP benefits, they'll need a printout from DSS, and they'll need a utility bill.
Okay. Now, with that many clients, there are a lot of needs. What are some of the needs you have right now?
We can always use household items like paper towels, toilet paper, Clorox, cleaning supplies. Anything you would use at home, we can use in the clinic.
Okay. Now, in the past, you've done a few fundraisers, but it's been probably a couple years now since you've had one. Do you have one coming up?
We do. In January the 25th, we have a steak and trimmings dinner. It's being hosted by Union Baptist Church in Temperance Hill, and we currently have tickets and sponsorships on sale.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about the tickets.
The tickets are available for $25 each, and that will guarantee you a seat at the dinner. And again, it'll be at that fellowship hall at Union.
You said the new church, right?
The new church.
Okay. Now, with sponsorships, if somebody would like to sponsor, how do they go about doing that?
If they would like to make a sponsorship and sponsor a table, they can. There's two tiers. There's a $500 level and a $250 level. And if you get with any of our board members, they'll have the form, or if you'll contact me at the clinic, I will get the form to you.
Okay. We have tickets available at different locations, you said, with board members, and will there be some at the chamber?
Yes, there will be tickets available at the chamber.
Okay. Thank you, Ernie.
Thank you.
I'm Johnny Lewis with Chamber Moments. Hello, welcome to Chamber Moments. I'm Johnny Lewis. Today I have as my guest Gerald Berry, who I always call Jerry. Hello, how are you?
Exactly. We've known each other for about 30 years.
30 years,
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
You're with the Dillon County Historic School Foundation is what you're representing today. You're active in a number of organizations in Dillon County, but we're going to talk about something very special coming up with the Historic School Foundation. You have some concert series planned, but the first one is in February.
Exactly. In February, on the 21st of February, we are going to present the original Drifters, and that will be at 7 o'clock at the Dillon County Theater. And I want to accentuate that this is the original Drifters. There are lots of groups out there that call themselves the Drifters, but this is the only group that can legally perform their music.
Because there's somebody in the family that's related?
Yes, either a wife or a widow of one of the original members. And legally, they are the only ones who can perform their music without getting into any legal trouble.
Now, when you were saying that it's going to be in February, let's talk a little bit about that. It's going to be at the Dillon County Theater.
Correct. At the Dillon County Theater at 7 o'clock. That's a Friday night, a week after Valentine's Day.
Still a wonderful Valentine's Day.
Yes, yes. And I'm looking at all the list of their top-selling records, and I'm looking at the list, and I see one that I remembered, This Magic Moment. And I want to use that as the promo for the event, and maybe it will be on the program too, that the Dillon Historic School Foundation presents This Magic Moment with the original Drifters.
Perfect.
That's nice, isn't it?
Perfect.
Yes.
Absolutely perfect. Okay. Do you have a cost for the tickets yet, or the price?
I'm thinking we'll, because the seats are limited to 272, and because this is an initial event for us, we're going to charge $30 a seat. And it's important that people will reserve their tickets beginning in January, because the tickets are limited, and those people who do become benefactors or sponsors or members or patrons will be given a week in advance to reserve their tickets. They'll pay for the tickets at the theater, and then the next week it will be open to the general public. And it will be highly publicized, so they'll know. And I hope to come back on this show in January so I can give more specifics.
Okay. But what if somebody wanted to have that as a little stocking stuffer or something
They will
like
just
that?
have to stuff a note, because the tickets will not be available until January.
Okay, all
Because we have that whole ticket logistics to figure out. And I'm sure you can help me with that.
We'll work on that. We'll work on that. Okay, I know you're going to talk about this, but you have a couple of events going on in December that we wanted to mention.
Yes. First of all, I want to plug what I just saw on the marquee. Hometown Christmas is December the 7th.
Right.
May I ask you what that's about?
That is a group of young people in Dillon that wanted to have some music and entertainment, and they're going to have two charities.
Okay.
And it's going to be Love's Feed and Humane Society. And tickets are $10. You can purchase them at the door, or you can go on their website and reserve them. But Erica Bryant will be here. Maggie Thompson-Borkin will be here. And so it's Judge Lockamy is going to be a part of it, of course.
And are you going to be a part?
No, unfortunately,
I've seen you perform.
Unfortunately, I could not be part of this one. But let's talk about some other stuff that you have going on, too.
First of all, this is right around the corner, and I was just in Latta last night for the choir practice, the Latta Community Singers, and I wanted to make the public aware of the fact that they're going to be doing two concerts, Christmas concerts, at the Latta United Methodist Church on December the 13th, which is next Friday, and on Sunday afternoon, December the 15th at 3 o'clock. Friday night at 7, Sunday at 3. And it's Polly Kopituk, who took Cindy Leggett's place as the director, and we have Susan Johnson as the accompanist, and she'll have other instruments involved too. But it's called Sounds of the Season, the Latta Community Singers. Polly has done an excellent job. She's filled Cindy's shoes, I think, but we miss Cindy a lot. But anyway, that'll be December the 13th and December the 15th. And then on the 15th, same day I finish the concert in Latta, I come to Dillon at Main Street United Methodist Church at 5 o'clock to prepare for their 7 o'clock lessons and carols with Robin Thompson on the organ and Charles Thompson, his brother, directing. And they will also have some orchestral instrumentation too for that performance. It's lessons and carols, and I'll plug this too. It's called "And There Was Light," which is a cantata written by Joseph Martin, who has a connection in a way with the Dillon High School Auditorium.
Oh, wonderful.
He was a student of Jimmy Woodle, who was a student of Miss Rebecca Field Hensley, so if you bump it down, this has some connection with Dillon, maybe 3 steps removed.
That's right.
But it's good.
Sounds good.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Jim.
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, and I'm hoping to come back in January.
I'll look forward to it.
Thank you.
I'm Johnny Lewis with Chamber Moments. Hello, welcome to Chamber Moments. I'm Johnny Lewis. Today I have as my guest Pat Laird, and Pat is here to talk about the Dillon County Theater today. Hello, Pat. How are you?
Hi, fine. Thank you for having me on your show today.
Thank you. Now, I know the theater has just started their new season.
That is correct.
And but they're adding some different things in this year.
Yes, we're going to have a few different things. Instead of just having a standard season that we plan ahead of time and we do, the whole thing is announced ahead of time, we're having some different programs. And one of the things we're going to do is we're going to have a fundraiser. As you know, we had received a grant from Fox Theater, and we were able to do a lot with our $50,000. And so, but we need to raise a few more funds because there's a little bit left to do.
Well, talking about the fundraiser, what's in store for us?
Okay, it is going to be January the 30th at the Twin Lakes Country Club, and it's going to be called Supper and a Song, and it's going to feature the PD's own Nick Townsend.
Ah, wonderful, wonderful. Now, will Nick be preparing the foods, or what?
He'll be doing singing and doing some food preparation.
Oh, okay. Now, this is a ticketed event, is that correct?
This is a ticketed event, and the tickets are $25 for a single ticket, or 2 for $40.
Okay. And now that would make a wonderful Christmas present.
It would make a great Christmas present.
How do we go about getting these tickets?
You can get them from any member of the theater board, also at the Chamber of Commerce, of course, and I'd like to give my telephone number. If anybody has any questions, they can give me a call.
Okay.
And that's 843-845-2875.
Okay. Let's give our viewers the date and the time and the location again.
Okay. It is Supper and a Song, January 30th at 6:30 at the Twin Lakes Country Club.
Okay. Thank you, Pat.
Thank you.
I'm Johnny Lures with Chamber Moments. Hello, welcome to Chamber Moments. I'm Johnny Lures. Today I have as my guest Don Lures, a local meteorologist. Hello, Don. How are you?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Doing well, thank you. I'm excited because it's December and it's cold weather. Now, is that going to be throughout the month of December, or what's going to happen?
Well, the seasonal forecasts are out for our area. They have temperatures averaging about normal. So temperatures averaging about normal for December, January, and February. Should mean much of what we've seen in the past few weeks, with temperatures many of the cooler days in the 50s. That's actually our normal high temperature for the winter, and our normal low would be in the lower and middle 30s, and we should be in that ballpark too. So if we average normal, that would be where our temperatures would be on a routine basis, highs in the 50s, lows in the 30s. Of course, anytime you're looking at a 3-month period, you're going to have your colder than normal days and your warmer than normal days thrown in there. But on average, we should average about right in the normal range for winter for Dillon and Marion County.
How about rainfall?
Rainfall is supposed to be a tad low or normal. There's actually conflicting forecasts out there. I've seen some, the official National Climatic Center forecast is either slightly below normal or normal precipitation, and some of the private forecasting companies have us in a stormier than normal winter. So it's up for grabs, I guess, on how you want to read the average of all that. But the bottom line is there probably will be, and there usually is each winter, our share of southern track storms that go across the Gulf of Mexico, then up the East Coast. And if we do get a series of those, we'll have to watch each one, because the big question that everyone always asks me coming into a winter is, will we see any snow this year? And so long as we have that southern storm track several times during the winter, there's always a chance that one of them will be timed right with colder air in place to get some snow or ice. I think it's a pretty good bet that there'll be some snowstorms that affect northern parts of, let's say, the upstate of South Carolina, over towards Charlotte and into interior parts of North Carolina. The question is, will one of them at least track a little farther south to give us in that snow range as well? Can't say definitively either way, but I think the odds are reasonable that we'll get at least one shot of a snow threat this year.
Okay. And when we're talking about the rain, and with the temperatures dropping so low at night, that would cause a problem. What, with the freezing rain?
Yes, if you did have cold air in place and the temperatures aloft were warm, that's the setup where you get freezing rain. It's rain when it falls out of the cloud, falls down to the ground, temperatures at the ground are right around the freezing mark, and you get that glazy ice. That's actually my least favorite winter weather, because it causes all kinds of problems. Of course, it causes traffic problems by making the roads treacherous. It also causes power outages, because that ice can accumulate on the trees and the power lines, weigh them down, and pretty soon you have branches snapping and wires falling down. And well, we've seen it in some years where literally whole trees start crashing down because the weight of the ice is so high. Hopefully we won't see that, but that southern storm track is also the same track that sometimes leads to an ice storm. So we'll keep an eye out for that. The bottom line is that as you go through winter, if we do have the storms that cause either a snow or ice threat, just stay wary, aware what the threats are, so you're prepared. And much like a hurricane season, it's never a bad idea to have at least some of your essential supplies there for a power outage. Power outages in the winter are a big deal, because not only do you lose your lights, you also lose your heat. So have some contingency plans on what you would do if that happened. and hopefully you'll never need them, but at least a battery supply for lights and stuff like that.
And the animals and your plants and everything in your garden.
Yeah, with the growing season, we've had enough freezing weather so far that the growing season is officially done. So any plants you'd be worried about are going to be plants that you maybe have out on your screen porch or out in the front porch that you can bring in the real cold nights so you don't completely lose them. Keep track of the day-to-day forecast for that, because if you don't, you'll end up losing them for sure. Because we'll have our share of nights in the 20s over the course of the winter.
So even being on a porch, they need to come inside?
Yeah, even being on a porch, the temperatures around your house are going to be a little bit higher than they will be away from your house. But if you're down in the 20s, everyone's going to be down below freezing. You lose all those plants. Some people keep their plants out as much as they can because they look so nice. It's just a nice environment to be in if you're able to get out on the screen porch on the afternoon hours. But at nighttime, got to stay away with the temperature forecast so you don't lose them.
Okay. What about your pets?
Same thing. You got to be real careful about them, because if they're outside for an extended time in cold weather, you can end up having health issues with them. Best thing to do is offer them some way to get a little bit warm, at least out of the wind and out of the extreme cold. A solution that sometimes comes up is that you can have them be in the garage, which does hold heat in. Especially in an attached garage to the house, that could offer them shelter from the weather for sure.
Okay. Anything going on with hospice?
Yes, on the hospice front, we are featuring some educations each month on different diagnoses, different disease processes we can help with. And the December diagnosis we're educating folks on is dementia. We've seen it some with our own family, and we've seen it with some of the families of our friends and extended family. And it can be a really hard disease to deal with. For the patient, of course, it's very hard because it's a frustrating disease. They know something's not right, but they can't quite figure it out because of the dementia. And of course, for the caregivers, it can be a really hard disease to work with, because it's a very emotional disease. To have your loved one, be it your mom or your dad or your aunt or your uncle or brother or sister, get to the point where they no longer recognize you, it can really be a hurtful disease in that regard. The important thing to remember on dementia is that it is a disease, and the different behaviors the patient exhibits are out of their control. So they may be doing things that are very inappropriate, but nonetheless, it's nothing that you can get angry about because it's out of their control. Best thing you can do to treat dementia is to try to find a medication regimen that keeps them in a safe place and a better place as far as how they're acting and how they're feeling. And there are successful treatments that I've seen be able to do that. For example, sometimes we'll have a patient that's very, very agitated, angry, agitated, and they can have medications to lower that agitation. And the patient feels better, and the family feels better, because it's much less chaotic that way than having the disease untreated. And disease like dementia also is a hard disease to deal with, because not only is it emotionally hard to deal with, there's also no cure for it. So it's once you're on that path, you know where it's headed eventually. It is a terminal disease, and that also can be a very stressful part of it. So what hospice can do for dementia patients is a lot. I mentioned the medication. We can help work with the doctor to get that medication optimized where the symptoms are the minimal they can be. And also we can help by having people come in and help with their care. Give the caregiver a little break, time to catch their breath and step away for a little while our caregivers are in there. And we can provide personal care like bathing and things like that. We can provide the nursing care to clinically watch the patient and keep them day-to-day quality as high as we can. And also that nurse on call 24/7, because another typical symptom with dementia patients is that they lose their walking ability, their stability, and they tend to have lots of falls. So that way you have a nurse on call. If your family member did have a fall, the nurse could come out and check him or her out and see if everything's okay, or if they needed to go to the ER, or what the situation is. So it's peace of mind for everybody as well.
Okay. If someone wanted to contact you, how do they do that?
They can reach out to me directly by cell phone. My cell phone number is 843-506-2067. Or they can reach out to Hospice Care of South Carolina. Our office is right on West Harrison Street, same building as Dillon Community Pharmacy, and just the other end of the strip of buildings there. And they can also go to our website, which is hospicecare.net. And there's a referral tab on there where if they have somebody they think we could possibly help, let us know. Anybody can make a referral to us. Eventually we would need to reach out to the doctor and get the order from the doctor, but the process can start with a family member or a friend or a pastor or anybody.
Okay. Well, thank you, Don.
You're welcome.
I'm Johnny Lewis with Chamber Moments.